And there, in the bedroom of the castle he had made for his love, the poor carpenter was pulled from his bed. Nora tried to hold on to him, but in vain, and in front of his wife's very eyes he was silenced forever by the vile beast. It took his life, wordlessly and noiselessly. Afterwards, the deer left with a whisper, and left the timberman frozen on the ground.
These are the notes of Jimmy Riley, serving as a report of the curious events that happened on the 12th of February, 1846, in the White Horse Inn on the road to the New Forest.
The Road to the New Forest. An audio drama by Emmy Nellison and Mimi Magusin.
And then? What did the clergyman's daughter do? Did she go after the deer to avenge the death of her husband?
Oh dear, good gracious no. When the angels saw Nora crying, they came down from the heavens and brought her true love back to life. What's wrong with that? Don't you like a nice happy ending?
Well, I'm glad that that's over.
Don't look behind you. There's a girl heading our way, and she's with an old woman who's been staring at us ever since that old man started talking about the black deer.
Excuse me, miss. You see that lady over there? She has something to ask you about.
Me? What exactly, may I ask?
You'd better ask her yourself. Between you and me, she's a bit off sometimes.
All right. Well, I'd better go then.
We'll come with you.
Hello there, miss. I think you asked for me. My name is Mary.
Good evening, my dear, and everyone else.
I hope we're not interrupting.
Well, you are, but never mind.
Debbie.
It's alright.
Nice to meet you, Mary. My name's Deborah, and this here is Noreen. We are travelers heading to Cornwall.
I see. And where is your guidance?
I'm sorry?
I mean, the men who travel with you.
We don't have any.
What? No guide? But how will you stay safe from robbers and thieves?
That's okay. We only got ambushed once on our way to Birmingham, and that's about it.
Mary, dear, please sit down. I hope you don't mind me asking, but do you know anything about the black deer?
Nothing more than what we all do now. At least, I don't think I do.
I thought so. And that is why I asked you to come. You see, young ladies like you should know something about the story. About how it really ended. And not only that part that ignorant Wilfrid told us about.
Hey!
I'm sorry, I just don't understand.
Oh, am I unclear? I mean to say that our dear Wilfrid told us only the beginning of the tale. The real story goes on long after the deer first visits the house of the carpenter, or the Timberman as he's usually called.
And I suppose you know the story?
Of course I do. Otherwise I wouldn't tell you about it, now would I? Now sit down, dear, and well, those others might find a chair at their leisure and listen to.
Hey, I was the one who started the whole conversation about the black deer.
And I was the one who told
Oh,
you.
shut up.
Are you one of those people that are working on the new railway?
Yes, I am.
It's very ugly, not of you. And I suppose you make quite some good money out of it.
Well, I fail to see why that's any of your business.
Everything that could harm girls like Mary here is my business. Thank you very much.
Debbie, please. You shouldn't be impolite to strangers.
Then who should you be impolite to? Well, never mind. You know, we differ in opinion, but luckily you are a decent storyteller. Otherwise I would have died of boredom. Well, sit down, everyone. And Noreen, if you please, my dear child, you may start the story.
This is the story of a man and a woman living in the village of Redlinge many years ago. The man was a carpenter and an artist, but everyone called him a timberman because he did so many things with wood, and they had no other word to describe him. The timberman fell in love with Nora, the clergyman's daughter, and after building a wooden castle for her, he proved himself worthy of her hand. He married her happily, but the forest was not happy about this whole affair, for the timberman had done great harm to it. And on their wedding night, the black deer, the guardian of the new forest, came to visit them. There it stood on the doorstep, and it was about to take the timberman away, but the timberman was not so easily frightened.
I swear, I will not take down any tree beyond my allowance once again. You have to believe me.
The timberman grabbed his wife and pressed her to his chest.
Please, think of my wife. I'm all she has now.
The black deer looked at Nora's pale face.
If you break your word once more...
I won't. You can trust me.
And with that, the deer disappeared.
It did nothing?
Well, that's stupid. In my version, at least, they had a fight.
Oh, good for you, boy. Noreen?
Indeed, Jimmy, the black deer did nothing. At least, not yet. Nora and the timberman lived on in their wooden palace. For the first time in his life, the timberman had someone to share with, and Nora, who was used to the rush of town, had to get used to the quiet. When the timberman was in his shed working, she often wandered the outskirts of the forest or read in the great beech tree that stood close to the house. They had visitors now and then who came to look at the wooden palace that was now known far and wide, and many came to offer money for the timberman's craft.
I give you 80 pounds!
90! 95, and the best mare in the king's table!
The timberman was delighted with the attention to his work, but even more with the money he got from it.
Nora, look at this beautiful silk I got for you. I will send a servant to London tomorrow to have it made into a garment.
Robert, it's beautiful, but are you sure that...
And there's something else. Here, open it.
He gave Nora a small box from which Nora took a necklace of pearls.
They are real, my love. From the New World, fit for royalty.
This is... I don't know what to say. How did you come by this?
I sold some of the carvings and furniture I made. And you know that elder tree next to the brook? It will do perfectly for an altarpiece. The Bishop of Winchester already offered me £100 in advance.
But I love that
Next
elder
time
tree.
I will buy you a golden necklace.
And the next day, when Nora sat in the beech tree again, she saw the timberman walking resolutely to the elder tree with his axe in hand. When he lifted it up, she averted her gaze, but in doing so, her eye caught something else. She saw a faint glimmer in the sunlight, and then she held her breath. Behind the bush, a few yards away, stood a large animal in the shadows. For a moment, Nora sat frozen with fear, but when the deer nodded slowly, Nora got on her feet and paced towards it. When she came to the bushes, the deer stepped forward and pushed its nose in her hand. By daylight, it was not black, but rather dark brown, and it walked on 4 strong legs. But Nora was not deceived.
What do you want?
And she heard a voice in the wind, a soft whisper.
Stop him.
Please.
And with that, it disappeared. Nora stood there for a while, not knowing if she had dreamt or not. Then she took a deep breath and walked up to the timberman, who was still busy with his work.
Robert, I thought I asked you not to cut this tree.
You won't believe your eyes when I'm done with this one. It will take a long while, but it's worth it. And that birch over there, I already have great plans for that one too.
Please, Robert, don't you remember what you promised the black deer?
Look, there are guests at our door. Please show them in, dear.
But
I have no time now. Go, quickly. Or do I have to go myself?
He walked away with a stern face. And each time Nora tried to change his mind, he wouldn't listen, but instead told her the even bigger plans for new designs, followed immediately with the things he would buy for her. Nora's neck grew heavy with the jewels she wore. But the deer came again, and each time the timberman felled another tree, each time it put its head in her lap.
Stop him. Please.
And then the night came, that she couldn't stand it any longer.
And you know, that beech tree in the garden would be perfect for...
stop it!
What, my love?
Just stop it! Stop giving me all these ridiculous presents!
And she took the pearl necklace she got from the timberman and threw it on the floor.
What are you doing? I worked so hard to get those for you!
I don't want them! They have blood on them!
Blood? What are you talking about?
All those trees that you cut down for it?
The trees! The trees! She cares more about them than she does about me! Than about all I have done for her! Don't you see that I do it all for you? I would do anything for you!
Then stop this lunacy!
Lunacy?
Don't you remember the black deer?
Do you have to bring that up again?
You swore an oath, Robert.
I did no such thing.
Don't lie to me! You gave it your word.
Then I'll break it.
And he took Nora roughly by her arm and dragged her outside.
Come with me. Come.
The timberman took Nora to the edge of the forest. There he cried out into the darkness.
Creature of the forest, black deer of the night. You told me never to cross this line or else you would punish me. I gave you my word.
Robert, please.
But he would not listen.
And see how I hold to it.
And the timberman took out his axe with one stroke, fell a young elder in front of him. Its trunk sailed through the air.
Come and get me if you want.
Then he turned to Nora again.
You see? It's not there, and it will never be.
But something was approaching fast from the forest.
I could cut down every tree in this forest if I wanted to.
Nora could almost see it.
Understand? And now you will go to the house and pick up the jewels I gave you. All of them! And your pretty face will glow with... Ah!
Who's out there?
You listen to The Road to the New Forest. The text was written by Emmy Nellison. The music composed by Mimi Magusin. Editors Emmy Nellison and Mimi Magusin. Director of Sounds Anna de Bruin. Also, many thanks to our great voice actors. Fenne van Engelen, Bramma van Overdijk, Para Vessela, James Toos, Nicholas Rogers, Julia Andriessen, Yuri Ferry, Isabella van Oudheusden, Korstiaan van Pelt, Kira Tehero, Antonia Bauer en Sebastian Meijers. But also our musicians. Joost Verheggen, Maartje Stroo, Remo Kortbeek, Laurens de Mooi, Anastasia Tropina, Emma Tondeur, Julianne van Meerten, Roos Middelkoop, Yuri Ferry, Robin Becker, Jacob Hepkema, Alice de Franenberg en Peter Reddinghuis.